guys, I'm back again and happy New Year 2024. I wish all you guys all the happiness, love, friendship, health, wealth that you deserve and that you desire this new year. So I'm finally back. Beginning of the year, I'm not like right there the first, but I'm here all the same, and that's all that matters. So let's talk about how this year is going to go and how last year went. So last year was a weird year because I had a very bad start last year. If you remember, I caught the flu at the end of 2022, right before Christmas. So if you followed my Vlogmas the first year I did it in 2022, you'll realize that a lot of the videos towards the end, I'm not speaking because I could not really talk. I was sick with the flu. Anyway, I managed to drag that flu all the way into the beginning of 2023. And I was basically sick until maybe the fourth week of January is when I started to really recuperate. So with that made my year just be completely off kilter. And yeah, it was difficult. But, I tried to make the best of it, get back into the swing of things. And before you knew it was Read So Lit. It was February, lots going on. And yeah, and the year went. Now, I have my reading journal here just to keep up with the goals that I made. So the goals for 2023 were to read 50 books, and I smashed it. I read 51. Okay. I mean, I didn't do like a lot, but I did 51 books, and I'm happy with that. Now, was the caliber of reading last year as stellar as it was in 2022? I'm going to have to say no. Now, it's for a lot of different reasons. I've had a lot of different, difficult moments of having to read things that I would normally have just quit it. And I couldn't quit it because I was either doing it as a buddy read or read along or something like that. But as a whole, I didn't have loads of books that were just like, that blew me away. Now, is that because the year 2023 was mediocre? Probably, because I don't think anybody really thought that last year's new releases were really all that, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'm wrong. It's me being overly critical, but yeah, that's what I thought. Besides that, I was supposed to read 10 big books over 400 pages. And I smashed that because I think I read 12 or something like that. But I never really have trouble doing this because I make a very good effort to read something that's over 400 pages. And not only that, I was reading, I'm doing the Rugal Macau series. So it is 20 books in that series. And Anna and I will be finishing that series the end of March of this year because we're doing book 19 this month, Le Debacle, and we'll be doing book 20 the month of March, and then we'll be done with the series. So both of those are over 400 pages, so I will already have 2 books over 400 pages. So that's what's going on with that. And then not only that, I'm doing a read-along of King that is happening over on Instagram. And King is over 500 pages. So this month of January, I will have read 3 books over 400 pages because I'm reading King. I'm reading the Le Debacle by Émile Zola. And I'm reading for a second time The Last Thing You Surrender by Leonard Pitts Jr., which I already read because if you took part in the read-along for Read So Lit in 2019, you know about The Last Thing You Surrender. Well, that book is over 400 pages as well. So those are 3 books that I'm reading this month that will be over 400 pages. So I know I'm going to hit that goal of 10 books over 400 pages. Other than that, what else is going on? I will be doing more buddy reads. this year, and I'll be doing more read-alongs. So we will have the read-along in February for Read So Lit for Black History Month in the US. We're going to have a Read So Lit read-along in July, which is our summer read. And in October, we'll be doing the Read So Lit read-along, which is in honor of Black History Month in the UK. So those are the 3 Read So Lit read-alongs. So if you want to join in, all your information will be here. The read-along for Black History Month in the US for February, this book right here, which is The Known World. And I hope a lot of you will be joining in because this is a classic. But not only that, it's also a Pulitzer Prize winner. And it's one that, we should all have read at least once. And this will be my first time reading it. So that's what's going on with that. And those were those goals for 2023. Then I had also the goal to read 10 classics. Well, that happened. You know that because I read a lot of Zola. And that quickly, filled up the classics really quickly. Read a couple of modern classics as well. Then I had another goal to try to read a little every day. Now, this one I failed at. I had some trouble with this because there were many moments within the year 2023 where that wasn't possible or something deterred me from wanting to read a little bit every day. Now, I would say I read the majority of the year, I read every day. I just wish that I didn't have as many days that I had when I didn't read every day. And that's just because when I read every day, I wind up reading more books. That's a fact. So if you always wonder, like, how do I read 50, 60 books, sometimes even 70 a year? It's because I read every day. And I also read what I like. Okay. So if the majority of the books I can be what I like and I can read every day, I can finish more books. That's just how I function. Now, I'm not the person that's going to be reading 140 books, 120 books. I've never even read 100 books one year. Who knows? Maybe this will be the year that happens. I don't know. This year, I've pledged to read 70 books. So we will see if I manage to read 30 extra books this year. I really don't think it's going to happen. But I'm going to do everything to kind of put myself in the mode where that could happen. I also had the spend less time on Instagram, which I think I kind of failed at this. I feel like I still spent a good bit of time there, but I would say I spent maybe 20% less time over there. But this year I hope to spend even less time over there. So I would say I want to make it like 60 to 70% here on YouTube. And the rest I want to spend mostly on my blog and maybe give a slither to Instagram because Instagram is not serving me. The only thing it does for me is allow me to speak to some of my online friends over there. But as far as posting and that kind of thing, it's not serving me. I don't feel like, doing anything on that app. Every time I open that app, something is different. It annoys me. Now, I'll admit there's one app that I'm trying out this year, which is called Fable. I don't know if you know that app, but I have started my page over there on Fable, and I think I'm going to spend some time making my page over there and see how I like this app or not. So I will let you know how that's going. Right now, we're at baby stages. I think I might have added 2 books to my bookshelf. So we will see how it goes. So I also had goals to do art more regularly in the year, and I failed at that. I could not make it work between work and all the rest of everything that's been going on. I've not been able to make that work. But this year, I'm starting my second channel, which is called artD'art. And this is supposed to be the channel that I'm supposed to spend time doing my art over there. So for example, you can see things like, for example, for the setup of my 2024 reading journal, I will show you the creation process over on artD'art. But if you just want to see the flip through, you can just see the flip through setup here on Brown Girl Reading. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is to do more junk journals. I'm enjoying that art form, but I would like to create more different kinds of things. Like I would like to do some more painting. I'm also doing journaling daily, but through artwork, writing, and other things, and pictures. So there's going to be a whole creative field going on over there. And that's where I'm going to spend some time, doing those kinds of things. And then, of course, as you know, I will be studying my Italian every day because your girl needs to work on her any regular verbs. So I'm going to be working on my Italian regularly. That's going to be a part of, the things that I have to do daily in order to remember. And I'll be here also doing as many reviews as I possibly can, because last year I hardly did any reviews. So I'm going back to doing reviews, which is how I started this channel, was doing reviews. And that's what I'm going to do. So this year I'm going to try to make an effort to review as many books as I possibly can. If I don't review it here on the video, I will try to review some as well over on my blog. So I will be blogging as well again, because I do miss blogging. I do miss writing posts. So I will be going back to that if you're interested in following over there. So that is pretty much all for how things are going to be working. It's, being on YouTube and wanting to be back on it on a regular basis has felt really comfortable for me. And I realized that when I was doing Vlogmas for the second time at the end of last year, I was feeling comfortable and I was really happy. Even though I was posting every day, even it was challenging posting every day, I was still really, really enjoying it and getting back into the groove of doing videos and editing. So I'm quite happy to be back and doing all of that. And as you saw in my last video, my husband, he's like, okay, so I asked him, I said, honey, go look at this bookshelf. I'll put a picture here. And I had to leave to go do an errand. And I said, okay, your goal is going to be to pick 12 books off of this bookshelf. And I'm going to read one of these books a month. You're going to wrap them all up. I'm not going to know what they are. And I'm just going to pick whichever ones I want. And I'm going to read them, one a month. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, because when I came back and I saw this, I was like, do you see the size of some of these books over here? I was like, okay, now what I didn't tell him is that it's a shelf where I have some books that I have read and some that I have not read. Well, I would say I haven't read 50% of the books over there still, because I think they weren't like up front, because they're double stacked in this other bookshelf. So he wrapped all of them up like I asked him to. And then I asked him, I said, so how did you pick the books? You know what he said? Well, I looked at the cover. I looked at, what the title was. And if the title looked interesting and the cover looked interesting, I picked it. And I thought, oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. So here's the one that I picked for January. Now, this is one, I think this was the slimmest book that was in the cart. So I'm going to unwrap it now and see what I'm going to be reading this month. With all the stuff that I'm reading, child, this is going to be something else. All right, so what am I going to be reading? Oh, no, it's a book that I've already read. Okay, so it's Les Liaisons Dangereuses, but you know what? I'm going to reread it because it's been a while since I read this one. I think I read this one when I was at the Sorbonne or right after I left the Sorbonne. So this is Les Liaisons Dangereuses by Cordelot de la Clos. And if you've watched the movie, you know what it's about. So it says Marie Antoinette kept a bound copy of this notorious study of sexual intrigue in her private library, and it was condemned by a criminal court 40 years after its publication in 1782 and publicly incinerated. The satanic hero and heroine of this greatest of 18th century novels, a pair of depraved aristocrats, plot and achieve the seduction of a young convent girl with the calm detachment of mathematicians solving an algebraic formula. So it says, honest to the point of cynicism, this is a fascinating exposure of an aristocracy shortly to perish in the French Revolution. Okay, so I'll be rereading this one, which is fine, like I said, because I haven't reread it in a long time. And this is in English. This is not in French. So fine. You know, the first one time I read it in French. This time I'll be reading it in English. So that's it. My husband's picked this one. So you know why he picked this one. Because he saw the French title and he said, oh, let's just pick that one. So thanks, honey. So this will be added to my TBR for the month of January. Stay tuned for February. I don't know what I'm going to pick, but we're going to see. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to stop here and, let all of this marinate, and comment below and let me know how you're feeling about my 2024 goals, and, how do you feel about me reading Les Liaisons Dangereuses for a second time? So yeah, let me know, and I will be back with my top reads of 2023 in a few days. Okay, bye-bye.